Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. I am your host, Escalante TV. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about a few work stories. I don't really tell a lot of work stories on the channel, and I work retail, and this is about me getting scammed, trying to get swindled out of my own money by some random people that came into the store over the years. A couple of the stories I'm going to tell in this video happened recently, and that's why I'm making this video, is because it's just fresh in my mind, and I just thought they were interesting stories, interesting interactions, and whenever you really think about getting scammed in a retail job, sometimes you may think about it as someone just trying to pass off a return, or they're returning an item, they're passing it off as that they bought the item and they want their money back. Or they tend to like switch price tags so you can honor a purchase at a cheaper price. I work at a shoe store, so some people try to swindle us by switching shoes out of boxes, or they'll switch price tags. But that's a different type of scamming that some people try to do. But no, this is like a scam, like a personal scam, like people trying to like take my money for some shitty product or pyramid scheme that they're trying to promote. So the first story happened when I first started. Happened during my first year. So it was the fall of 2021, kind of close to the holiday season. So I've already been working this job for about 4 months already, 3 to 4 months. And one night I was working the closing shift, and some lady comes in with her kid, and she starts to kind of talk to me and everything like that. So part of my job back then and now is usually like associates or managers in the shoe store. I work at Famous Footwear. You have to interact with people on the floor. You have to talk to them. You have to push shoe sales. It's just part of the practice. You don't sit behind the register and pick your nose like some people do, or you just don't. You just pretend to like stock the shelves. No, part of that job is to talk to people, ask them for their phone numbers, for the rewards program, get them signed up, get them taken care of, measure their feet, find shoes for them, make small talk. That's part of my job. So this lady talks to me. She's looking for shoes for her kid, and eventually just that conversation switched to asking about me, asking about my personal life, like where I'm going to school and like what do I do outside of this job. And I think it started to raise some red flags when she was starting to ask me those things. Of course I told her like, yeah, I'm just going to college, I'm not really doing nothing much. Told her this and that, what I'm majoring in. Of course she didn't know what I was majoring in, because nobody knows what a rhetoric, writing, and public discourse major is. But after she made she asked me those questions. She offered to give me phone numbers from like multimillionaires. Like, I know multimillionaires. Like, I have their phone numbers. And then she started to offer me the phone numbers. And then from there, I nicely declined to get phone numbers from her, and that was really weird. It was a brief but really weird interaction. I don't know what would have happened if I took the phone numbers and actually made the calls, if I was that desperate. So keep in mind, whenever like you think of a retail worker, like, I don't think anybody like desirably wants to work retail. They're there for a reason. They're there because they need the extra money, or because they need to support their livelihood. They need to pay bills. They need to pay the water, the rent, whatever. Keep the lights on, keep food on the table. And I guess what she was thinking in her head was, yeah, look at this sad retail worker working for minimum wage. Maybe he's paying student loans. But I don't know why she had that conversation with me. But that was just one story. It was a simple little story, but nothing really harmful came out of it. It was just like a really weird interaction with this lady. So moving on to a more recent story. So the second story, it happened back like during Easter, like the week before Easter this year. So again, I'm working a closing shift, and I'm an assistant manager now. Like back then I was an associate. Now I'm an assistant manager. I'm working in closing shift with my other colleague, and same thing happens. Like, a customer comes in, and this guy comes in with his wife, and they're looking for like boots for his wife, because they're going to this trip somewhere. So try to help her find like comfortable boots. So it's the springtime, so there's not really like a lot of boots in our selection. We try to look like on our out of season section. We try to look into our clearance for any like boots. And at some point, I took a pause, let the guy's wife look for boots, and the guy starts making he tries to make conversation with me as I'm walking on the floor. He's just sitting down, like watching like some weird video. He's like, dude, I'm just so excited. Like I'm gonna go on this trip to the west side of the state, and I'm gonna go like get this talk from like these millionaire guys, and I'm just so excited. Like he's just scrolling on his phone, and that's at some point he tries to tries to extend the conversation even further, and then he comes up to me with the phone, and he shows me like videos of these guys walking on a beach. Like they're like it's like the stereotypical like millionaire bro, tech bro type of guys that try to pass off their services as like a get rich quick scheme. And I knew where this was going, so he just shows me the video of these guys walking on the beach, and then he shows me photos of his like family vacation with his wife, like off in Hawaii. And he shows me this bizarre picture where he's standing like in the middle of a field, and he's like pointing towards the horizon. He's like and he tells me like, hey, that is where like dreams are gonna come true, something along those lines. Like the guy was just trying to pull me into whatever scheme he was trying to promote. And he was trying to incentivize like, hey, this is the type of life you can live, like what kind of work like what kind of work these guys did to get rich quick. They don't really elaborate what they exactly do or what type of labor goes into the work that gets them rich. I know like everyone in this day and age wants to survive capitalism. I mean, the reason I'm working retail is to survive capitalism. The reason I went to college was to survive capitalism. But a lot of people tend to exploit desperate people. They use their desperation as something to take advantage of. That's people's vulnerabilities, to say like, hey, you're in financial trouble, just change your mindset, change your lifestyle. That's what he was trying to pull off. Like, just get this idea. If you guys ever played Red Dead Redemption 2, like there's a guy in Saint Denis that tries to sell you a book. He tries to sell you a book like get rich quick, like my book will make you rich, and everything like that. It's that type of guy. And yeah, I punched him in the face in my playthrough of Red Dead 2. But this guy I can't punch in the face because he's got me in a vulnerable position, because I'm not supposed to talk back to customers. I can't really be mean to him. Can't tell him to F off, screw over, or anything like that. So I'm just sitting there for 15 minutes. This conversation goes for 15 minutes. This guy is just promoting his pyramid scheme. He eventually tells me a story about like a guy throwing starfish. I don't know what the plural starfish is. But he's throwing starfish into the sea or whatever. He tries to make some sort of analogy, metaphor, and eventually he shows me his app called Starfish, where you download it, and then eventually like that's how you save money. He didn't say exactly how until I started to do research after work on what his little app does. But I think eventually it kind of spoke for itself, because he was ready to pay for the boots for his wife until he started to be a really obnoxious prick up at the register. So my other guy is ringing him up, and he starts complaining on how his gift card doesn't work. So keep in mind, like how our store gift cards work at Famous Footwear is that an associate usually sells you a physical card with like a number on the back that the associate takes, and then they swipe it on the other side of the register, or you get like a gift card code from like a customer service agent in case something got screwed up with like your online order, or you just gave them a complaint and they were happy to give you a gift card that way. So this guy had one of our gift cards on his phone, and he was like trying to tap it with our pin pad, and then the guy like starts to like get all upset. He starts to like be like, oh well, it says here to show to associate right here. He starts to get even more irritated until I actually see that he has a code, and it's like, oh yeah, we gotta take that code. So of course, like, his gift card was functional, thank God, because if it wasn't, I wasn't ready for the amount of shit he was gonna give us. Let's just say that. So yeah, the guy happily leaves finally, like after 15 minutes of chatting with me, after my colleague also tried to pull me away from that conversation. But after he pays and everything like that, he comes back. He comes back with like a little book in his hand, and he comes with like a notepad too. Starts writing in his information, and like he tries to pass off his information to us, like, hey, like, if you guys want to like change your lives, just give me a call. And then he leaves. That was the end of it. I tore up his piece of paper. I'm not gonna fall for it, for his stupid like mindset changing stuff or whatever. Try to get into like whatever into his pyramid scheme services. That's what he was trying to offer up, like. And this guy's a scumbag for the way he does it. And he's also been known to do it to other people as well. So my colleague actually recognized him from a previous encounter with him. He saw him do it to some people eating at a restaurant, like promoting a scheme. So like he kind of goes up to people in the middle of like eating, or I guess to me, I was at work, but he'll catch people out on the street and try to make his friendly conversation. But at the end of the day, the guy was a prick, really entitled prick. He also had his fly down. That's what my colleague also noticed, that his fly was down. So yeah, he was very much making a fool of himself. He was a dork at the end of the day, but he tried to present himself as a charismatic salesman. So yeah, I also did research on his name. He actually gave me his name on the thing. I did some research. He has a LinkedIn, but in this video, I'm not going to provide like his ID because of privacy, and hopefully he doesn't come after me. But yeah, rumor has it he's probably still scheming in my hometown. So yeah, that's the story of how some guy tried to sell me a pyramid scheme. I did ask my boss after this, like, hey, like, are we allowed to nicely tell people to not solicit in the store, like no solicitors? And yeah, like the guy was clearly like soliciting something. He was soliciting a service, and yeah, he was scheming. So yeah, so know this when you go into a business, that if you go into a business, your plan is to probably buy something from that business and not try to rob the employees of their life savings. So yeah, that's the story of the pyramid scheme man, the pyramid scheme man before Easter. So this last story happened a few days ago. So it's weird already that I've already encountered like a few schemers, but this guy was kind of weird. So this guy comes up from the parking lot and starts talking to old people about something random. And this guy was no ordinary guy, though. Once I realized it, I actually recognized him. So it was like this tattooed guy. I think he like tried to talk about some sort of like free shoe service to me one time, or like subsidy service for like shoe stores. But clearly, the last encounter I kind of had with him, the last brief encounter I had with him, I think he was definitely trying to get some sort of free pair of shoes or on a discount. I don't know what he was trying to do. But this guy comes back and he comes into the store, and then he wants to sit down with me. He's like, hey, like, do you want to sit down? It's like, sure, fine. I hope you're going to tell me a cool story. So I sit with this guy for a brief moment. and plus, it doesn't hurt to rest my legs. I know we're not supposed to really sit down in American work culture. We're not supposed to sit down on the job, but I sat down for a brief moment with this guy to see what kind of cool story he was going to tell me. Maybe it could lead to a good sale. Having this conversation with him, having a good customer connection, and the guy tells me about some sort of like thing that was going on. He was trying to buy like a designer pair of boots from like the 50s or 60s and some leather jacket. And I don't know if it was like from the nearby Goodwill thrift store that was nearby, or I don't know what it was, but he was like putting down money, or he was trying to bargain for it. Like, I don't know what he was trying to do. Maybe I think he was trying to bet like $20 on all of these designer pair of boots or the jacket. His story was really convoluted, so that's why it sounds really weird. And eventually he starts asking me, hey, like, do you want to put down $20 for like these boots since you're like a shoe guy? And then that's where I actually stood up and told him, hey, like, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid like there's no soliciting on the property. It's like, hey, I'm happy to help you around the store. And then he starts like opening his mouth and babbling whatever. Some other associate tried to back me up as well, like a newer associate. I think I might have told them the policy of like no solicitors, because we've had that problem with the pyramid scheme guy. Yeah, this guy starts mumbling and jumbling now that, the scheme didn't work on me. So he starts to actually like pace towards the back of the store where like all the boots are. He looks at them for a brief second and then he leaves. So I guess he got nervous that I was going to call the cops on him or whatever. But yeah, that's another weird solicitor that popped into the store. And I don't know, these people overall are just scumbags, just by the interactions that they have with people. At the end of the day, they're not really people that have the best intentions. They really just want to make a quick buck. They try to entice you that you're going to make a quick buck and that you'll get rich quick. But in reality, that's really not how it works. Sadly, I wish that was the case. I wish, I didn't have to try to survive capitalism. No one should have to try and survive capitalism in this day and age, and with all the high prices in gas, food, utilities. Really, like, people work for a reason to survive. People are working to survive. And sadly, there's people out there that want to exploit people's vulnerabilities and take their savings for their own so they can get rich quick. That's kind of the story about weird schemers that came into my shoe store. And I certainly could not do anything about it, like tell them anything mean or anything, but you can certainly tell them like, hey man, sorry about this, but you can't solicit it on our business, in our property. You can freely tell people that, and maybe they'll fuck off and maybe try somewhere else, or maybe they'll fade into obscurity. So yeah, that's a life story. If you guys want to stay tuned for more of my videos, make sure to subscribe, like the video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.